Hello, my name's Alyssa, and I want to talk about writing. Also, I'm sorry, this is my first video. I'm on my cell phone. It's dark and rainy outside. There's a smudge on my lens. I don't know where it came from, but I can't get it off. I have an English degree with an emphasis in creative writing, and I come across a lot of people who want to write but don't know how to start, or I come across a lot of people who don't know how to write academically. So I just thought I'd make a few videos. Not sure how it's gonna wind up, not sure if I'm gonna make an actual whole channel or something, but I thought maybe it could help. So a lot of people, when I talk to them about writing, how to get started, they're like, I want to write, but I don't know how to start. I know it's gonna be crap. I started writing, but it was really bad, or I have this unfinished thing. Cat, don't. Louie, sorry. I talked to this one guy online who said he had like half a novel started, like a good chunk of it, and he just didn't want to finish it because it was awful. He didn't want anyone to read it because it was awful. And I was like, why are you writing a novel if you don't want anyone to read it? And why did you start if you were never going to finish it? And I think a lot of people who want to write are just really afraid of sucking. And honestly, everyone sucks. Everyone sucks when they start writing. Writing isn't a talent. It can totally be taught. Some people start off better than others, just like any other skill or art. It's definitely a science just as much as it is an art. There's an essay by Anne Lamott called Shitty First Drafts, and if you can get a hold of it, just search for it online. It's basically just get it out there and let it be shitty. It's a first draft. You're not going to get it perfect the first time. And the point of writing, if you want to write, if you like writing, the point of it is to have fun. It's like painting or drawing or singing or dancing, playing video games. It's something you do for fun. I mean, it can get excruciating because if you want to write for a living or finish a huge project, it's hard work, but ultimately you do it because you love it. So if it's not fun for you, like at all, and you don't know why you're doing it, find something that is fun for you, because if you don't like what you're working on, you're not gonna want to work on it, and it's really hard to get some motivation. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is just academic writing. My sister's in grad school in a master's program for social work. She can write a decent paper. Now, she couldn't when she first started her undergraduate studies. I had to help her. The only reason why I figured out how to write a decent academic paper for college was because I had a class that taught me how. I had multiple classes. English teachers want you to know how to write. Thank you. And so I just she would have me look over her papers, and she didn't have a decent thesis statement. And she didn't know what a thesis statement was. I mean, she knew the concept of one, but she didn't know how to write it, and she didn't really know how it was supposed to frame her paper or her essay or whatever she was writing. And really, a thesis statement needs to be one sentence, and it needs to have all the points you're talking about in it. In this paper, I'm going to be discussing blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then your first point that you listed in your thesis is going to be your first paragraph. And then same thing with your second point, your second paragraph, third point, third paragraph, and then your conclusion, you're just repeating your thesis, different wording. That's basically like the generic formula for an academic paper to keep it organized. You can like change it up once you know the rules. Sorry, the mailman came and my cat freaked out. And also so did I, because our mailbox is in the wall and it scares me sometimes. Okay, that's the generic formula for an academic paper. And as long, like, you can't break the rules unless you know them already. It's the same thing with creative writing, all forms of writing. And you need to know syntax, diction, grammar, punctuation, all of that. You need to know them and you need to practice them. And then once you got them down, you can play with them a little bit. I mean, like, Shakespeare made up words and flubbed like all sorts of rules because he knew how they worked, so he could do whatever he wanted with them. But if you don't know the rules in the first place, then whenever you're just doing just whatever, like breaking the rules, it's gonna be unorganized and it's not really going to make sense to your readers. Rabbit trail. I said this before. Some writers say that they don't want anyone to read what they're writing, they're too embarrassed. Why are you writing if you don't want anyone to read it? That's what diaries are for. If you're writing fiction or poetry I guess can be like personal, I get that. Emily Bronte wrote a lot of poetry that wasn't supposed to be published, and then I think maybe it was Anne's poetry and then Emily published it. That's not important. One of the Bronte sisters had private poetry and one of the other sisters published it after she died, and then the third Bronte sister, pretty sure it was Charlotte, doesn't matter, was pissed off about it. This story doesn't matter either. It doesn't matter that poetry can be personal. Why are you writing fiction if you don't want anyone to read it? Like, that's the point. That's the point of writing a novel or a short story or anything like that is, I mean, the reason why I want to write is to make people laugh. I like writing comedies and fantasy and just like ridiculous, nonsensical shit that makes people laugh hysterically. I love doing that. I love when people tell me this made me laugh so hard I cried. It's the best feeling in the world, and I know that my first drafts are crap and I really need to go back and revise them, but I hate doing that. Like, that's the point of writing. I love to write because, one, it's fun. I love when other people enjoy what I create. It's the same thing as like cooking for someone and they tell you this is the best thing I've ever had, or you paint something for someone and they frame it and hang it up on their wall in their house. It's like that. So if you're writing and you're not letting anyone read it, you're not gonna get better because you're not getting any feedback and it's not going anywhere. You're not getting that fulfillment as a writer. That's what writers do. They write so it can be read. It's sad if you don't want your things to be read and you're writing fiction. Or I don't think I have anything else to say. Okay, bye.